Hello, everybody, and welcome back to NCAA 2005. And we are here at the very end of year number 3. And the Iowa Hawkeyes are a national champion. I think they're the first one-loss national championship we've seen in this series. And they beat LSU, who I think already has one in the series. But either way, so we finally get a full year of number 11, who transfers from Oregon, and he gets All-American honors in the Sun Belt here. Has a pretty great season with 26 touchdowns. Definitely a huge step up from number 16, who looks like he did touch the field a little bit this year. It sucks to kind of go away from him after he was kind of our guy, but number 11 was such a better quarterback, so we kind of had to. Number 6 in his junior year has, again, about the same season. I don't know if we're going to get a whole lot more out of him. I don't know why. It could just be the sim. It could be him, but we're just not going to get a whole lot. But number 1 has a pretty decent season, too. So between the two of them, we reached about 1,200 rushing yards and about 10 touchdowns, which, for one running back is good, but between two, it's not great. But for one whole running back, that's a decent season. But either way, receiving-wise, we're still kind of struggling here. Don't have a receiver even close to 1,000 yards. I'm not sure what it's going to take to get to 1,000 yards, but we're not even close right now. We got two guys with 619 yards and 11 touchdowns respectively, so not bad there. But our right tackle gets All-American honors as well. He has an amazing season with 31 pancakes and 5 sacks allowed. Left guard doesn't do that great. Center doesn't do that great either. Left guard doesn't do that great. So we only had one piece of our offensive line that was actually kind of formidable, an area of the team that I thought would be a little bit better than it ended up being. So another All-American in the conference here with Alton O'Neill, who we'd put at left end. He was originally a linebacker on the roster who I recruited, and I moved him to left end. And he had an amazingly disruptive season, perfectly replacing our left end, number 90, who was our best player on the team, and he just graduated last season. So we replaced his production with Alton O'Neill, who does a great job leading the team in TFLs and in sacks. And the number 37 also gets All-American honors with 4 picks. So we got quite a few All-Americans in the Sun Belt on this team, which is pretty nice. And then our walk-on kicker has 66%. Not good, but for a walk-on kicker who's a 44 overall, I'll take that. I will happily take that. It's a lot better than I thought he would do. Middle Tennessee State takes the Sun Belt as North Texas has a down year, but Troy State and New Mexico State throw their hats into the ring, and North Texas only won conference games, so they were only one game away from actually probably being in the race for it. We finishing 7-5 are in the middle of the pack here because we went 4-4. Utah State right behind us, and then you have your caboose there at the bottom. So Louisiana Monroe is a huge fall off, which is actually kind of shocking, honestly, when you think about it, where they've been the last few seasons. We're going to keep the budgets about the same here going into the offseason because I think it worked out last season, and hopefully now with our better season, we'll have a little bit more access to better prospects and won't have to struggle so hard to recruit, as few guys as we can. So we're actually losing quite a bit of guys this year. There's not a few huge guys here, but obviously number 19's leaving. Number 1, who's great depth at the running back position, is going to be gone as well. Losing number 28, who's been one of our better defensive players the last 2 seasons as well. And then a couple offensive line pieces are also finally leaving. So definitely some important guys. There's definitely like a handful of really important guys, and then everyone else is kind of irrelevant. That's kind of, I think, where we're probably going to be here as most of these underclassmen leave us. But we have another transfer request, and this time it is now a wide receiver. Nicholas Bullard from Nebraska doesn't look like he touched the field a whole lot. Nebraska probably has quite a bit of horses in that stable on that receiving core, especially around this time, but they didn't need to use him. So we're going to accept that transfer. We'll probably accept every transfer because we're Idaho, but we're going to get a transfer from Nebraska. So now looking at the recap of our recruiting, we finally have 4-star recruits, ladies and germs. We have 2 4-stars. We get the number 7th outside linebacker, the number 8th running back in the country. 2 humongous pickups here after the departure of our right outside linebacker and number 1 leaving. So 2 huge boosts right there, and we were able to pick up quite a bit of depth recruits all around the roster. And again, because of position changes in this game, I'm just going to double up. I think I said this in the last video, but I'm just going to try and double up as much as possible on recruiting in certain positions because we can just move them around. That gets us up to 69 in the country, which still puts us definitely in the mix in terms of the Sun Belt. There's ULM, Louisiana Lafayette, Troy State, New Mexico State, and Arkansas State all rank below us in terms of recruiting. So last year we were the worst team in the Sun Belt in terms of recruiting, and this year we're getting towards the middle of the pack here. We're no longer bottom feeders. I don't think we should be able to at least compete now in our own conference, which was such a huge struggle in the last couple seasons. And even last year, it wasn't really a guarantee that we'd do as well in the Sun Belt as we did. I kind of had to really fight with the sim to get at least a somewhat realistic result or just kind of pray to it that it was going to give us a little bit of help here. But either way, we're going to move now to the depth chart because we didn't really change much position-wise. There wasn't much I could do. So number 11 is going to start again at quarterback. Number 6 is going to be starting running back. But we do have new backup running backs. Keith Bridges is going to be our backup at 74, so he's probably going to grow up to be something really special. Dylan Barker is now our starting fullback with Raymond Lambert behind him. Conrad McNeil is going to be our top receiver. Patrick Wilkerson is going to be behind him. Dylan Lawrence, of course, third on the depth chart. Clifford Lindsay is going to be fourth. So, decent receiving core here. Number 96 is back for his senior season. All-American last year as well, so he's going to be coming off that season for us. Marcus Kirk's going to be our new starter at left tackle at his 74 overall. Dio Tanner is going to be our starting left guard as a sophomore. We still have an unnamed center here. He's going to be a senior, but then we have Peter Peterson, hilarious, who we're going to move out here because he's definitely not the best option here. We're going to put James Daly, the freshman, who we're going to start him over at right guard, and then Robert Beasley is going to be our right tackle as a freshman. So a lot of young guys on that line, man. And then Alton O'Neill returning as our left end at an 80 overall, and then Carlos Calhoun, another linebacker we moved to right end, is going to be an 82, so solid. Vernon McIntosh, who also got All-American honors, is going to be our starting defensive tackle once again as a sophomore, getting a little bit more better at the position. Not a whole lot here, still needs a lot of room to grow, but Bryant Winborn is going to be our starter on the left side. Zach Wheat's going to return as a starter in the middle, and then on the right side we're going to shuffle our linebackers around because Jeff Williams is going to be a better starter on either side here. So it looks like we're going to need a huge boost on the right side. Definitely going to have to shuffle some guys around. We're going to put Winborn back starting on the left side, and we're going to put Williams on the right side because he's the substantial improvement here, Jeff Williams is. So at DB, we have number 37 returning for his senior year. So only a few seniors left on the team, guys. We're almost completely rebuilt here. That's probably when we'll jump back in and back to going game by game, is when we have a full roster of our own guys now on the team. So we also have another senior, another All-American. Dude, this team had like 7 All-Americans. Good Lord. In the conference, that is. First and second team in conference, but not, at large, obviously. So, but then Norman Mays, our kicker, up to a 52, and then Abraham Walden up to 68. I mean, that's still very bad, but I don't know when we'll be able to confidently recruit kickers. So here is a brief look at the out-of-conference schedule. Again, I tried to make it as easy as possible, keeping our rivalries with Boise State and Montana, and adding Ohio, who's also pretty bad, I saw in recruiting, and Duke, who's just all bad always. And we scrub out another 7-5 season. So pay attention to the wins and losses in the order that we go, because there was a realistic shot during the season that we could have a bid to win the Sun Belt. But then these games right here against Louisiana Lafayette, Middle Tennessee State, kind of derailed any chance that we kind of had at it, and then Arkansas State was like our last chance at it, and they completely ended our season very swiftly. So that chance ended, and then the running back from Miami wins the Heisman again. Probably another famous running back in the NFL, but I couldn't tell you who it is. But we do actually get a bowl bid this year. Last year, our 7-5 season with the FCS win was not enough, but this year, I guess enough teams lost to open up a path for us to get a bowl bid off of this season. And so we're going to be heading to the Silicon Valley Classic to play the SMU Mustangs, who went 7-4. So they didn't even play a full 12-game schedule. We did. SMU, by the rankings, is significantly better than we are. I think their roster is probably closer to what ours is, but considering their national ranks and where they sit nationally, they're the significantly better team here. So SMU should be able to win this game pretty easily, but I was going to take the chance anyway. I was going to record it, and I was like, if we get blown out again, then I'll know that we have to sim at least another year or two before the games get good. And I'll just scrub the game, and then we'll just do year 3 and year 4, the year 3 offseason and year 4 in one video. But the results of this game were surprising. They definitely shocked me. So I'm like, and the video was short. So I'm like, I'll just add the bowl game on to the end of this year. We'll get some gameplay back in, and then I'm hoping for year 5, I'll do another regular offseason video, and then I'm hoping for year 5 we can just go game by game, because I think the roster should be good enough by this time, especially after recruiting, giving another 7-5 season. It should be more than good enough to where we can go back to a game-by-game basis. I'm hoping so. I don't want to get burned and think that, and then go into go into games and just start getting blown out again. You know what I mean? Like I would hate that. So I was going to just do year by year, kind of like we did Louisiana Monroe series, just because I thought that would just be better for this. I don't think we need 2 college football series going game by game next to each other, but I enjoy the Idaho series. So if it's worthwhile watching, then we're definitely going to switch to that. So very late in the first quarter now, number 11 rolls out of the pocket on a 3rd and 8, flips it across the middle, and he finds an open receiver. I believe it's Clifford Lindsay. I'm going to try and remember the names. I don't have them wrote down, but I remember our receivers, so at least most of them. So the first quarter is going to come to an end here. We're now with a scoring opportunity. So on 3rd and 13, number 11 drops back again, flips this one off quickly, and that receiver is absolutely flattened. I couldn't see who it was, but he gets absolutely flattened. I think that was Clifford Lindsay again, getting absolutely flattened there. So cut to a 4th and 13 now. We're going to keep the offense on the field here because Lynch feeling pretty aggressive, and number 11 is going to get strip sacked, I guess you could say that. He was trying to scramble, but either way, he coughs up the football, and SMU falls on top of it. So a fumble in SMU territory is going to give the Mustangs the ball heading the other way. But on 3rd and 7, SMU trying to work the ball across midfield, and their quarterback's going to throw an interception. It's number 37, our senior, one of our best DBs on the team, who comes down with it here. A huge boost here for this Vandals team. And now we finally work it inside the 10. We're going to hand this one off to number 6. He's going to get brought down right at the line to gain here, but I think they're going to give it to him. I think that was close enough for a first down. At least it should be. It should be close enough for a first down. So, but it wasn't. We're going to get marked short. So we're going to bring out Hayes, the kicker, and he's going to nail this one through. So we're going to take a 3-0 lead over the Mustangs here after a full quarter and a half just about of play. So cut very late into the half here, just a minute 45 left to go. Number 11, deep shot downfield, and it's going to get caught. Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Can you believe it? A huge catch. I couldn't believe my eyes here. So I couldn't tell who it was. It looked like a tight end. Might have been a tight end or unnamed tight end, maybe, perhaps, or it's got to be. Maybe we'll get a better look on the replay. Even then, I still might not know because it could be one of our newer guys on the depth chart here. But either way, so it's going to be goal to go now for the Vandals. But on 3rd and goal, SMU's defense trying to keep us out of the end zone, and they can only keep us out of there for long as it's caught for a 4-yard touchdown pass, and we're going to take a 2-score lead over SMU. Now the game's not over by any stretch. We still have half a game still yet to play here. So, but late in the first half, SMU's going to give us the ball back, and we have a chance for more points. But Hayes, his kick is off to the left. He cannot nail this one. So that wasn't even that long of a kick. He did have the leg for it, just kind of pushed it wide left. So the lead is going to remain at 10-0 over SMU after one half of play. So this Mustang offense, which again ranks a lot better than ours does, really struggling to get out of the gate here. But finally, on our doorstep, they're going to hand off to the fullback, and they're going to finally get into the end zone, and they're going to answer back to us, to the Vandals, and they're going to get a touchdown of their own. So now we are just back, pending the extra point, of course, we are now just back to a 3-point lead over SMU. So, but that's all that would happen in the third quarter. So, but we got to the beginning of the fourth quarter, and SMU's worked it inside here in our territory, but it's a long field goal, 46-yarder. The kick is up, and maybe there was enough lag. I think there might have been, but it was pushed wide right regardless. So that was a potential game-tying field goal, and SMU couldn't get it. So with a minute 35 left to go here, SMU trying to get down the field, and the ball is bobbled around about 4 or 5 times before it is caught by a Vandal defender. But there's a flag on the field, so hold on here. Let's see what it is. And it's a clipping call, so regardless, the Vandals are going to keep the ball here, and that's essentially going to be victory formation for Idaho. And it looks like we're going to take home our first bowl victory since, I believe, the Humanitarian Bowl in 1998. I believe it's the last and only time Idaho has won a bowl game here at the FBS level. So we're achieving a little bit of history here. It took just about a decade, I think, in order to do it. It took just about a decade to get back to a bowl victory, but we do manage to win the Silicon Valley Classic, so we will happily take that. So we finally get a bowl bid, and that was one of the requirements of our last contract, was to get a bowl bid and have a winning season. So and it took us one extra year, but we managed to accomplish both tasks in the 2007 season. So a huge boost for this program. I got to imagine this gets us at least up to a 3-star prestige program, and we should have some access here to more 4 and maybe even some 5-star recruits. So we should definitely be a little bit better of a team here. I've got my eyes set on the Sun Belt next year. That's where I'm setting my sights for next season, man. We should be able to win it next season. I really hope so. So looking at the game breakdown here, we do outgain SMU on just total offense here, and we ran the ball pretty well too, efficiently. Third down, both teams were pretty atrocious on third down. We could not convert a fourth down, but neither could SMU. Our red zone numbers are absolutely atrocious, man, getting there 5 times. But there you see the turnover numbers, and that's really kind of the tail of it here. We had 3 bad fumbles, lost 2 of them, 1 bad pick, but SMU was just absolutely, they couldn't protect the football. They couldn't, and that's absolutely what was their undoing, man. They just couldn't protect the ball. So number 11 doesn't even have that great of a game here. It's actually a pretty bad game, all things considered, compared to the kind of season that he had, unfortunately. But number 6 is running everywhere, man. He was unstoppable. It was great to see because we haven't seen him do that in a sim all this entire time since we've been here at Idaho. But moving on ahead, setting our sights to the year 4 offseason, and I kept saying Hayes, it's May, sorry, but when I come back in the next video, man, we're probably going to just be watching 5. It's going to be the year 4 offseason, but we're probably going to start watching again in year number 5. So hope to see you guys there, man, when we continue on with more Idaho.